We are joined by legendary newsman Bob Schieffer, who has a new book titled Overload, Finding the Truth in Today's Deluge of News. Bob, great to see you. Thanks so much for being with us. There is so much I want to talk to you about. First, we miss seeing you as much, so thank you very much for stopping by. Let's talk about this book, because you really speak about how much has changed. Is it 60 years that you were in the business and still are?
Yes.
But just think of where we are right now and how it used to be that people would pick up the newspaper to find out the news of the day, and that was really the only way to get it.
And that's the real crisis in journalism right now. What has happened to our newspapers? Because as the advertising went away from print media into the eBay and these various things on the internet, local newspapers have had a terrible time trying to develop a business model that would allow them to hire the staff to put out the newspapers as we knew them. We have lost 126 newspapers in the country over the last 12 years. And here's a little statistic that I ran across when I was writing this book. In 2004, 1 reporter in 8 lived in Los Angeles, New York, or Washington. That number is down to 1 in 5 now. So that tells you what's happening across the country. There are places where people are not getting any news that they can rely on. It's not whether it's biased or not. They can't get any of the news they're getting comes across their Facebook page.
Well, yeah, because you talk about how everyone now wants to get their news anywhere, anytime, and from a device in their pocket.
And that's where many people are. I think it's 67% of Americans now get at least some of their news from Facebook, which is fine. Facebook's a great way to keep up with your neighbors and your relatives, but you have to remember that the news that appears there hasn't been through the vetting process that it used to go through at the local newspaper, and certainly what we still do here at places like CBS. We don't publish or broadcast anything until we think it's true. That's not the case with the majority of things that are showing up on the internet.
Yeah, people need to certainly keep an eye on that. And each day people are discovering there are benefits, as you mentioned, to digital media, but there is that downside, and that's what people need to be aware of.
We're in the midst of a communications revolution now. The technology has changed not only how we get the news, but our politics and our culture with a more profound effect, I would think, than the invention of the printing press had on the people of that day. It was a wonderful thing. It improved literacy, the coming of the printing press. You had the Reformation, the Counter-Reformation, but there were also 30 years of religious war before Europe sort of reached equilibrium again. We're just in the beginning of this, what we're going through right now, and eventually it'll sort itself out, and we'll be stronger for it, but it's going to be kind of a bumpy ride in the meantime.
Bob, good to talk to you. Thanks so much for stopping by. It's great to see you.
Thank you.